In this video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Christmas because obviously the festive season is upon us, and December is very difficult for people to be staying on diets, to be losing weight. We're surrounded all the time in offices and at home with food that is incredibly tempting to eat. So you've got mince pies, you've got the massive tins of quality streets, shortbread cookies, all sorts of things. They're going to be everywhere, and people are going to give them to you, I suspect, as gifts. Now, if you've been training all year and working your arse off, and you're really making progress, and it comes to December, and you think, oh, sod it, I'm going to start in January, you're going to start January, and the likelihood is you're going to stand on the scales and you're going to feel utterly disappointed. The chances are that you're going to have piled on the pounds if you've overindulged. Potentially as well, with being really busy with different occasions, you're going to have lacked on your training too. So where you may have been training 5 times a week, it may well drop down to 2 or 3. This is going to have an impact across the week on the calories that you're burning. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of a survival guide of how to get through December without piling on the pounds, so you can go into January and you can be feeling pleased with yourself and not have had a massive slide back. It's so easy to put on anywhere between 7 and 14 pounds, depending on how little training you're doing and what you're consuming. So firstly, we'll talk about Christmas dinner. Now, Christmas dinner is actually a really healthy meal. You've got a good source of lean protein in your turkey. Usually you've got loads of veggies. All that's great. It's the little extras that add on to that. So you need to make the decision whether on Christmas Day you're going to have a really good treat, or if it's something you want to moderate. So if you want to moderate your Christmas meal, load up your plate with lots of green veggies, some turkey, keep your potatoes dry roasted, stay away from the sausages and the bacon, the bread sauce. That stuff is what's going to load you up with calories. If you want to enjoy it, I certainly will be, go all out. But for the rest of that week, you want to be making sure that you're keeping on point with your nutrition. The same across the whole of December. If you know that you've got a function, a works party or something come up, look at it in 2 ways. Is it going to be your treat meal for that week, and you're going to be sticking to your whatever nutritional plan or diet it is that you're following, or are you going to keep it in check and keep trying to progress? Personally, I think life's all about balance. Life's for enjoying, and there's no point sticking rigidly to a plan and missing social occasions because of that, because ultimately that's not sustainable. I think it's important that if you're going to keep results and not yo-yo backwards, that you have to make it sustainable. So I personally will be limiting my treat meals to once a week. I'm not going to go totally over the top because for me it's just not worth it. I'm training really hard to progress, as I'm sure you are, and I don't want to hit January feeling demotivated and have piled on the pounds. Other ways to keep things under control. I was speaking to a client this week who already had an office filled with Christmas goodies, and everyone was handing them around, and she was finding it really difficult. One strategy that I suggested was perhaps just having some chewing gum. So when everyone's going around with the sweets, chuck the gum in, and it's going to make you feel like you've got something occupying your mouth, but you aren't going to be having the sweets. She also had a fantastic idea that when everyone was sharing the mince pies around, she was going to go and make a cup of tea. So she wasn't around that food while it was being eaten. She was distracted, which I think is a really great idea. Other ways to stay on top of your nutrition is every meal be making sure that you have a really good amount of protein, breakfast, lunch and dinner, and snacks in between. Fill up on veggies with every meal. Have some carbohydrates. You're going to be getting your fats from your meats and things. So you can also add in like some nuts for some added fat. But just keep the rest of your meals throughout the week really well structured, and make sure that you're filling up so you're not feeling peckish. The surefire way for a day to go downhill is by not having a great breakfast. If you're not starting your day off right, you're going to be wanting to pick later on. If you've not had a breakfast at all, you may nip into a coffee shop and grab a pastry or something there that's going to be tempting. It's going to lead you to have another energy slump, and because you'll be craving the sugars by that point, may lead you to pick up something that you wouldn't otherwise. So good meals 3 times a day, 2 snacks, load up on protein every meal, lots of veggies. Another point is to make sure that you're staying hydrated. So 2 to 3 litres, which is the absolute minimum recommendation for water. Really important that you stay hydrated. It's going to keep you full up. Our bodies require water to function and for the cellular processes to happen, so it's really important that you stay hydrated. I've just got some notes here to remind me of what I was going to talk to you about. So plan events, your training. Make sure that whatever you're doing, you get your training done. So I like to do it first thing in the morning, that way it's done. You're likely to have unexpected guests that perhaps you wouldn't otherwise have throughout Christmas. So by getting your training done in the day, you're not going to get distracted and prefer to go out after work. You can do that and go out and enjoy yourself if that happens, but know that your training is already in the bag. Just a little side note, just to make you aware of how the calories can add up over Christmas. Mince pie is about 300 calories. I'd say that's probably a minimum. My husband has some sitting on the side, and I checked the box earlier, and they're not even luxury ones. So I suspect that anything that's really luxurious is going to be higher in calories. Quality Street, just 3 is about 140 calories. Once I'm in the Quality Street hub, it's hard for me to get back out, so I know I wouldn't stop at 3, so I just don't go there. Christmas pudding, only 100 grams, which is, you know, a really tiny amount, is 300 calories plus. Eggnog, again, about 300 calories for a glass. For a glass of Baileys, you're looking about 150. Mulled wine, about 230, 250 for a glass of mulled wine. So you can see by just adding little bits here, there, across the day, that you're easily going to go over your recommended calorie allowance for the day, and that's when the weight's going to pile along. Plus, if you're not doing the training, that's going to also mean that you're not using as many calories. So I think that's pretty much everything. Regarding calories, obviously calories isn't the be all and end all in terms of dieting, but when you're having foods like mince pies and chocolates, there's a really clever combination of fat, salts and sugar that makes you want to eat more of them. So you're going to, once you've had one, it's going to have that awful effect where you think about it all the time and you keep going back for more. Also, the fats that are in these products are likely to be trans fats, unless they're well made or homemade. And again, just really bad from a health point of view. You may not have them all year, but binging on them over Christmas isn't going to do you any good either. So my advice to you, keep everything in moderation, plan out your treat meals, drink lots of water, fill up on protein and veg, and enjoy your occasions, but do everything in moderation. So you can go into January feeling really great and not be a month behind. Just aim to maintain your weight throughout December, and then come January you can hit the ground running again. So have a great evening, and as usual, email me with any questions you have at fitandfabulous@icloud.com, or you can contact me through my website, which is fitandfabulous.co.uk. Take care. Bye.